rocket out, takes out the garrison and a large amount of them, and what a teetering on the edge is, oh my god!
That's so many dead bodies, oh la la. He has the big shot, the petit sachet, the particular sachet.
Oh, no! Hello and welcome back to the Insiders Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Caparzo, joined by my co-insider, Snow. Snow, welcome back to another episode, Championship Edition. Hold on one second. I need to just fix your audio really quick. That's my bad. All right, Snow, welcome.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I got you now. Thank you. Welcome back, and welcome you all back to the Insiders. Snow, I don't want to delay our very special guest any longer. So why don't we welcome on to the Insiders our guest insider this week, SilverNewt of Merc. Newt, welcome on to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here with us all tonight.
What's up, guys? Yeah, likewise. Yeah, so I was saying this now, it's good to have some EU representation on this time of night.
Right. A lot of you guys are typically probably catching this on the replay, but I've been meaning to kind of have some EU representation, and you guys are obviously in a bunch of different leagues with Hell EU, so kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. But for those out there in the community who don't know, Newt's been around about as long as anyone else, so why don't you introduce yourself to those who might not be familiar, Newt, and kind of give them your origin story as far as gaming and then coming to Hell Let Loose.
Well, I was probably one of them escapees from the Battlefield 2042 scenario.
Right.
So I pre-ordered that, and then obviously that was rough. So I jumped on Hell Let Loose. I was pretty slow to the clan. Like getting into a clan, I think I was about level 100 before I actually got into a clan. I think we joined first, and then I broke away with the rest of them when we made Merc, and then pretty much been in Merc the whole time, apart from a 2-month interval where I was in what we call now Prime HLLE, and then back to Merc for the rebuild.
So
third rebuild.
did you pick up the Hell Let Loose when it was free on PlayStation during that Battlefield 2042 fiasco window?
Yeah. PlayStation Plus October free.
That's like it's paid for itself a million times over. Like that insane.
Yeah, I've got nearly 5,000 hours on it now.
Wow.
And not paid a penny apart from like the odd DLC cosmetics, which I felt like I probably should have bought. Like.
Yeah, I think I have like a little bit more than 2,700 hours right now, and I can't believe that I was able to get so much mileage out of a free game, and I didn't even like it at first. I didn't like understand it, but once you get it, there's really nothing else like it. So we were talking. So go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm quite a loner game, so like even like the multiplayer ones like Battlefield and that, I've never really like squadded up with other people. And I say I made it to about level 100. I was one of them. I learned to gun pretty well on a tank because I was one of them scumbags that would shoot you and steal your heavy tank and then park up and snipe basically. And I learned to eyeball shots. I got recruited into the first when I was like level 100. But
did you know about Discord or anything like that ahead of that? Because like that was my first experience too.
I downloaded Discord to join the first. They were like, you need to download this, and I was like, never heard of it. Like showing my age, I guess. But
Snow, was it the same way with you, or you were on Discord before Hell Let Loose?
I had that Discord account, but I used it for like stupid like phone games. I would talk to my friends with doing it, but then this game really got me into it. Like the actual, never seen a Discord server. It was more of like a group chat with a voice chat.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the only thing I had used it before prior. So like the whole gaming community was something new to me, and you know think we take for granted sometimes, like, because, you know, we all bust each other's chops, like, constantly, and, you know, the various league chats, is that we have a really great community here, and, like, there's people that have been around from the very beginning, and there's a long time to play in to spend in a game that really isn't complete all the time, and it's all because, like, you know, the community that we have here. But Newt, you know, you're a tanker. You've been tanking since, you know, the early days, like you mentioned. Like, how has the game evolved from, like, an armor perspective, like, you know, in competitive games?
I mean, competitive wise, it's a lot slower than it used to be. Like, you get it every now and again, but, like, you very rarely see, like, the stupid flanks you used to get all the time. Like, I mean, you occasionally do it with, like, a throwaway default or something,
right.
But, like, in the first comp matches, you'd have a heavy, like, 3 grid squares in the red. It was almost chaos, and but yeah, it's a lot slower now. Like, I mean, people, like, still put so much emphasis on a driver, but, like, sometimes for a comp match, as long as my driver can go forward and back, that's, like, sometimes all I care about, because I can sometimes spend the whole match just kiting the one hedgerow.
Right.
To a certain extent, it's a lot more boring. But I was talking to Mosfer and Beardew actually about, like, tanking in pub matches, and we were saying that pub match tanking is now, I would say, harder than tanking in a comp match, because, like, everybody's AT is so good, everybody's got, like, level 9 assault now. It's just it's almost easier to tank in a comp match than it is a pub match,
especially in the servers that I think we all kind of play in, where you see these, like, really great players, but are, you know, you're playing without your infantry support that, you know, it's drilled into them. Like, I see Snow, I see Newt over here, like, I need to dedicate some time to them, and, like, you know, hey guys, are you good? Like, can I do anything for you? Like, that's what I always think when I see a tank nearby me. It's like, all right, let me go over there and, like, is there anything I can get these guys real quick? Because when they're around, my life is a lot easier. So yeah,
that's right. But yeah, comp match, I mean, yeah, it's a lot more slower than it used to, and, like, yeah, you see the rep stations, like, the rep station spam now is not something that you used to get. I say now, like, obviously you got, like, designated tank, like, support and, like, stuff that, like, people rep tanks, which, like, you didn't have in the early days of comp. Like, you just didn't understand it. Like, well, they did, but, like, they didn't designate as much manpower to, like, the armor as they they do now.
The differences in meta from the early days to now, when it pertains to armor, is especially interesting, because, like, I remember in KRC, and, you know, at some points it was just like you had a squad that's their only job was just to defend the tank, and, you know, now you kind of, the game is a lot slower, like you said, so it's more about defending this hedgerow where the tank is going to do this peek and just kite it for, you know, probably 10-15 minutes and hold a lane down. The peak meta is kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's it. Like, not people sometimes ask me, like, what, like, who do you think, like, the best TC is or whatever, and I'm like, TCs get all the credit, but you got to give some of the credit to the driver that spends an hour and a half looking at the same bush, going back and forward, you know.
Right.
And they sort of unsung heroes of a tank.
Yeah, I mean, all we do is hit a button to ping shit and talk.
Yeah, I mean, glorified binos, mate. And
that's all we do.
The driver is definitely a brutal spot to be all game too.
Yes, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
like, especially if things are going badly, because there's, like, in the driving seat, there's nothing you can do about it. Essentially, almost, you just got to sit there and just take the pounding.
Yeah, I mean,
half the time you can't see what's hitting you. You can't do anything about it. You're on a kite. You just get hit on the side, listening to your gunner scream to stop.
You were always a armor guy, Newt, or did you any experience with infantry?
Yeah, I play infantry a lot in pub matches for the reasons I said of tanking,
right.
And yeah, I've played infantry a little bit in comp matches, but yeah, primarily a tanker. Started off gunning, and then mainly TC now.
Favorite tank?
It's got to be the Tiger.
Yeah.
Or the T70, because that thing's just fun as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You could really haul around with that. It's a good time.
But yeah, it's got to be the Tiger. I say for comp matches, that first and reverse being so quick. But
Were you
for pure fun, it's probably T70.
Did you use the Tiger a lot before they banned the Panther, like in comp matches? Or you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I didn't like the vulnerability in the turret, and I say from when I gunned a lot, I didn't like how if you slammed on the brakes,
brakes it bounces.
And like from a gunner's point of view, you get the target on and the driver would brake, and then it's like you get the 2-second faster reload, but then you bounce for 5 seconds, so it's like almost pointless.
Yeah,
I fully agree.
The 2-second reload time difference was crazy back in those days too, and like people chose to go with the Panther anyway. But I saw someone put it like into words one time that was like really, really smart, and it's like going one grid square in the Tiger versus the Panther. If you're going just in a perfectly straight line, it saves you about like 5 seconds or like maybe 10 seconds. Like, how much is that really like changing the flow of battle in the current meta of armor, where you're not really moving much once you get to a certain spot? So in saying so, it's like the Tiger is like the better tank because at least it's more accurate. You have the faster reverse, like you said, and I mean it's just cooler. I think personally, like from an infantry perspective, when I see a Tiger,
I do miss the Panther as a medium.
Oh my god, dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was just
oh my god,
fucking that was brutal. But yeah, I definitely prefer the Tiger over it, even when we had the option.
I'm the same way. I always pick the Tiger as well, just for the exact same thing you said.
Yeah, I mean, I as infantry, I do not like seeing the tanks, like the other team's tanks. That means our tanks are having a hard time because of just how we play together. So yeah, I mean, keep your tanks up if you're out there in the community. If you want to know how to get better as a team, it can be the cornerstone of your team. It's something you can build your team around, is having like good armor. And I think in the early days we saw that very routinely. Like if you had a good armor, 3 tanks, you were gonna win.
The like I say the earlier days of comp, I remember the first time witnessing old school 7th roll-in 3-tank push with the rolling rep stations was just horrifying on the other team, because there's just nothing you can do, and it's like they'd roll the rep station so quick, and it was something to like witness, which is slightly more common to see now. But yeah, I still think old school 7th did it the best, and I've not seen a team do it like that since.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that's always a way that we can tangent for a solid half hours, talk about like old school 7th versus
who would win
this modern team. It's literally MJ versus Jordan, or like but they were playing against plumbers back then, that sort of thing. Like no one knew what they were doing. Like I had a second job. But so again, we want to welcome you onto the show, and we're happy that you joined here, that we're going to recap all these matches from the prior week. But first, I was thinking we'll start off with some off-season competitive league. We were talking a little bit before we went live here about the championship game, which was between MSU and OCL. So MSU was the Allies and OCL was the Germans on Carentan Canal Crossing, and MSU took home the title 3-2. So I was able to watch this one back a little earlier today, just as I was grabbing some clips and thinking of some things to say. But Carentan as a map in these matches, Newt, why don't you go first? Give us like your perspective on playing as, we'll say, the Allies here, because that's who came out on top. I
mean, we beat ROFS' Axis on this map, but I do think this point especially is favoured to the Allies, especially if you do manage to trap Axis behind that river. You've essentially just given like them warehouses. I wouldn't say it's an easier point to win as Allies, but I would say it's slightly more favoured in my opinion.
What about you, Stan?
But yeah,
it, like he said, like it really depends. I feel like initial cap, yes, Allied favored, but as long as any decent team's gonna have something across that river, hopefully, and if you can hold that, then it's really I wouldn't say easy. Nothing's easy. But it's really possible to recap it back as Axis. 6 played Taco on that map, same point. Taco was allies, and they capped it first. They obviously stacked their armor deep back. We stacked our armor on the warehouses, but we eventually got a Gary up on that riverside and pushed, and that's why that was a crazy game, back and forth. But I think it's 50-50 once Axis can stay over that river, but if you're allies, you got to stop it.
What you're seeing more now is obviously everyone knows that you're going to get across the river, or like where you're going to try to get across the river. And the amount of times in these games now where you see these snipes going exactly where, that's going to happen. And then on the other side of the river, if they're able to get through, it's like, on other maps, there's options. Like you can choose not to do that. On that point and that map, there's nothing you can do. You have to pretty much do that. Like your other option is to get out and go across the boat bridge on foot, but you gotta weigh those options. Like maybe you dump your SLs to do that, and then your Impy goes and risks it and tries to get a little bit of a beachhead up there. Basically, I don't know, but the way that the game is again evolving, and these teams are preparing, it's making the right play harder to make. And that's what I like to see from, teams in these championship matches.
Yeah, especially.
It's always harder with a point when you've got like no option of where to go. I'd say we did beat ROFS' Axis on that point, but like on the initial start, everyone knows where you drive that truck through the river. Their rocket landed within about 3 meters to the right of our truck. Like it was so close. Like sometimes it's just luck of the draw, really.
I think it is too. I think it was you guys as well that hit that really nice snipe on with like the Lux one time on the road going into Canal Crossing. I'm not sure.
No, I believe that was one SBS actually.
Oh, right, it was.
Yeah, they're crazy good for snipes. To be fair, they took out a truck on us against them in Heli U as well on SMD. But yeah, that was the one SBS. But we did something similar, and there was another one where I didn't get the snipe. I basically had it lined up for where it says United States line,
right.
And the ROFS truck parked on the E instead of the S where I was lame in. So
we're talking about differences, like that is exactly how if anyone who's wondering like at home, like how do you start to find these stuff, and it's literally just going into an empty server and like finding these sight lines and like practicing around with your your friends and your clan mates. If you don't have a private server, you can do it now too via the explore feature that's built into the practice range. So you don't necessarily need all the tools that you once needed to prepare. And going back to the crazy early days of like you'd have to go into an Asia server during North America hours, getting into the right map, and then you could start looking, and you didn't have admin cam. So it's crazy to see, and this game is being played at such a high level. Bringing up the stats from this game, so we have OCL who is in red, and then MSU who is in blue, because MSU played the Allies. And you can see that for the infantry, OCL got out-killed, but not by a significant amount here, Snow and Newt. I would say this is almost close to even. But what is significant is the armor difference here. And let me make this full screen just so it's a little easier for everyone to see it. And then we also will have some highlights here. So here's the full screen.
Bazooka.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that bazooka, man. I love to see that, just people throwing rockets at each other, man. Yeah, armor's crazy as well.
When these teams start to clash now, you're just seeing the volley of bazookas going out for both teams. There's been some incredible snipes early on in this game, and I do have a clip here, so let's take a look while we were talking about these snipes here.
Begin up there to the far north. MSU has stuff planned. Some snipes coming in. Oh, they got some bodies. One truck for OCL gets mostly wiped. I think there's just a few left.
Getting one
passenger
truck
left in that truck. So OCL
up there in the north.
Off of the north here. Off of the north. We have one.
So that's just a brutal take right off the jump, losing your North truck that's going to be going for that meat grind there. And it kind of showed because, just a little bit into the match,
Squished.
we can see, this is just over 12 minutes into the match. You can see OCL squished up into the north here, having their garrison taken out, and this Jesse over here is the last surviving SL.
We're just down to the Gat, OP, Zimmerman, Jesse Pinkman up here, trying to stay alive, trying to keep OCL's northern bridgehead hopes alive. But the Stewie is not going to...
Little G, SilverNewt is from Merc.
So comes around the corner and takes out Jesse Pinkman and the OP. Oh, Gustav! No! He gets taken out. Oh, but the grenade saves it. The grenade saves
But they do end up losing this OP, and that wipes out anything OCL had in the north. Newt, what do you do in that situation if you're OCL, you're on the other side of that boat bridge, and you got nothing over there in that northern sector?
Honestly, you're not going to cross that like just running across the bridges. Once you lose that initial stage, I think you've just got to designate to hold in the bridge so they don't get across it, and then you just shift your manpower somewhere else in probably hope to fucking a lucky airhead. I think once you lose that initial foothold in those warehouses, it's so hard to get it back. It's almost not worth the effort.
Yeah, the thing that scares me the most too, like if you don't cap as MSU did, and you get ruins there, that is a hard break there, because we'll see later with the first and 3-5, but ruins is can ruin your time as a defending team. It is horrendous to try to do anything.
It's a weekly ruin 4-point bashing segment.
Yeah, I think
100% agree.
Yeah, I think you had the similar discussion on the last podcast, and I commented. I was like SME Chapel, Merc for all of that. SME Cemetery is probably along the same lines. It's just rough to defend that.
Yeah, I think for Carentan, because it's always in play, obviously, because it's the middle fourth point. I think it's worth discussing, like, if during scrims at least, and depending how a new league might want to structure their rule set, it's worth asking, like, hey, do you let's do aligned points, so like pumping station or whatever it is to the south, because with town center it's not so bad, but the other two, when you're offset with ruins, it's just impossible. But MSU was lucky to cap first, or not lucky, but they prepped to cap first and avoided a scenario like that. I clipped one of these here for both of you guys to take a look at. And what would you guys do for guaranteed that you would have a 76 like MSU has here in this clip? This is the Magic 76 here.
Hans? And the 76 is all by himself. In the alleyway.
Okay.
One rocket ricks off the back, though. They'll still have time to get 3 in. Hans should have one more firing here in just a second. Bronze. Oh, he ricks the second one. Braun ricked his too. Oh, no. These guys are missing their 18 shots at a critical time.
It's just impossible.
The stress of the battle. And oh, my gosh. 4 rick shots in the back of the 76. This must be the magical 76 right here.
I mean, Smithers called it the Magic 76, and I was watching that. I was like, all right, you have 4 rockets. You need 3. And then every single one of them breaks. Like, you don't even get the engine out of that. That is such a bad break.
Almost like when Taco puts a satchel on Legion's tank and nothing happened.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I think Awake said that it's like we diffused it as it went off, so it didn't do any of like the...
It just did the grenade.
Yeah,
to kill the bodies.
I don't know. That's one of the strangest occurrences I've seen. It doesn't help that it's El Alamein, so everything like is kind of a little broken. So there's always that possibility.
That was hilarious when I saw that. I was like, "Wow, the taco luck has finally shifted."
All right, let's pump the brakes on. What are you trying to jinx me or my team? But I mean, this was a really fun game. I'm trying to think of another clip that we can do. Here's a really nice AT swarm by MSU at the end of the game.
Moving a little bit closer to rail crossing. Tiger takes a shot. Tiger
So,
firing back. Oh,
you know, you view the AT stat that MSU was so, you know, had so much of an advantage in, and you think it might be AT or tank on tank, but it was a lot of AT harassing these OCL tanks. So, Heine especially. You boys remember Heine from the AT mines.
Heine's waiting, he's waiting, and he gets the satchel on side of the Tiger. Oh, Heine with a big time satchel play. And the AT players for MSU shine here in the final 11 minutes. And he's going to stick by and see if he hears anybody.
As a tank, you think you're fine. You're sitting back there just covering.
With the shotgun is so cool too. It's unfortunate because, oh my gosh.
Another one from Heine.
And he goes out with his satchel. I mean, like, those are the kind of infantry plays that influence games in a big way. Taking out a heavy, a team I think could only get, I don't know if do you guys know, like, the most amount of heavies you could possibly field? Is it like 12 or 16 or something like that?
Saw the number ages ago, but yeah, I can't remember it.
Yeah,
I think it's around 15.
Yeah, I think it's like around there, right? So taking out one as an infantry that you're not having your tank get into a dangerous position to try to take out itself is huge. Like, and whenever I hear in squad chat that someone like blew up a 76 or a Tiger with an AT rocket or a satchel, it's like, wow, that's a devastating hit to the fuel economy battle. That's always going on in the background that you guys are probably very, very in tune with. But, you know, that's something that I wasn't like cognizant of or like really cared about until I really started to understand the game more. Like, what is your mentality when you're looking at your fuel? Like, where are we in a good spot? Where are we like, okay? Where is it like, oh shit, we're in trouble?
So, I mean, for me, I'd always like to see at least one in the bank, like one head in the bank.
Yeah.
You know, so like, if we're like, before I even consider doing stupid shit, I'd like to see 1200 fuel.
Right.
But if we're on like 6 to 900, I'm playing it safe, because as long as you go down and you can get straight back in a heavy, it's not so bad. But like, if you're at 200 fuel and that's it, you've got another 5-6 minutes until you can get into a heavy.
Right.
That's theoretically 2 points capped, you know. So like, it's you got to judge the fuel really. You got to like keep an eye on it, especially if you're planning on doing stupid shit.
Right.
I was about to say, and I play differently depending on how much fuel we have. Like, oh, okay, I'll overpeak this a little bit. Maybe you risk it taking out this Lux and this P4. Okay, and then, or damn, we only have 200 fuel. I better just stay, keep eyes on everything.
Right.
Make sure. Maybe it's just a flaw in me, but I do play differently when we have 1200 fuel and 3 heavies up and we're coasting good.
Every so often, I'll have like Tunny join the squad or something like that. And I'll be like, oh no, like I don't want to see you here. Like I love you, but I do not want to see you here, man. Like that's not a good sign. But that's just how it goes as Armor. And I mean, Armor certainly won the day here for MSU. So congratulations to MSU for their OSCL championship. And I'm definitely excited to see more for them. They are a great team. All right, so let's get into the Summit Valley semifinals. Our first match here is 3-5 as the Germans defeating first as the Allies 5-0 on Carentan Night with train station. So we're trading the north part of Carentan for the south part of Carentan here with train station. So, you know, I'll ask you guys again as Armor players. Train station is, you know, the best or the second best? What do you guys prefer as far as between Canal Crossing and train station? Because I know it's not town center.
Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere near that center of that town. Train station's not so weird, but like it's not so bad. But you do get the occasional weird rendering issues. Like you think you've got the long shot down the tracks, but actually there's like 4 train carriages that aren't showing up. Yeah. and then you do get the built up area on your left hand side or right hand side, I suppose, if you're Axis, that can make it. There's so many ways to get flanked by Infi still with that point, compared to say Canal. But yeah, it's definitely better than Town Center.
Yeah, Town Center is awful.
So Snow, what about you?
I like Train Station the best, better than Canal Crossing. Canal Crossing is so open. Like, if you're not careful, you can get seen coming up on your approach, or either that or it gets led to just, I hate to call it this, but just like a rep station battle. Where you could sit at one edge for 45 minutes, shooting back at each other and repairing. I don't like that kind of thing either.
From Mount Halei, can you shoot into there as the Germans?
Some spots. Depends on where you're sitting. If they're really putting pressure on your front door, you can.
Yeah, because that's a lot of overhead there. But this one was casted by Sheepdog, I believe his name is. He's new caster into the Summit and now TPL community. So he did an awesome job. This was his call of a opening recon tank that made its way in by the first and was causing 3-5 some trouble.
And it looks like Manor House is going to get in control. Yeah, Mansion's going to be in control of the Allies. Puma coming up on the south side here. Spirits and Savvy.
Oh, that's a 3-5 Puma. Apologies.
On the other side, Pawn Shot.
I love the call.
Oh my God!
Nice.
What I say,
Let's fucking go.
And before the Puma can do
We think the
anything,
Puma's trying to get deep line.
That was I love the call on that. Just pure excitement on that Manor House, which we all know how important that is to control on the south side of the map. Can pull in some stats here. Look at some graphs here, but a pretty decisive, as far as kill differences for 3-5, but you'll see, not a ton of kills in this game. We've seen this before, Snow and Newt, on prior episodes where you look at these 5-0 matches and sometimes there's not as many kills as you think that there was. We'll look at it a little bit later with like the 6th and Taco match, but on that match there was like 1,500 kills between the team, and here, we're only just about 600 for 3-5. So, in these matches, sometimes it's positioning and like armor placement over just strictly kills.
They also, how fast was this game? We need to start putting their times when you're 5-0. I keep forgetting to tell you that.
Yeah, we'll start putting time so we can track the fastest and slowest 5-0s.
If you remember that KRC Legion game where it was like 200 versus 100 kills.
Max kills was barely anything going on kills wise. Like, I think I saw Bill later in the game and he was like, I have 0 shots fired and 0 kills. Like, I'm just doing nothing.
The biggest difference is that graph the kills different by team rank. I mean, that means nearly all 50 players were out shooting first. Right,
and as tankers, I'm sure you guys don't like this graph a lot because you guys are always at the bottom, no matter how good or bad you guys do. It's not really a graph for the tankers here, but the tank graph there, you can see 3-5 just how dominant that they were with the armor side of the game. 75 kills to 18. Right off the bat, they were able to win the medium battle as well. So why don't we just take a look at this clip here of that battle?
Rolling into this point.
Trying to stop 3-5.
And this is a hard peak. So what's going through your guys' mind when you get that first hit into the medium in a situation like this?
Go ahead, Newt.
Their side, are they pushing it? That's probably the right call. Yeah, they're pushing it. Yeah, you got to push it. Like, I mean, I don't like to engage tanks that much when I tank. Like, I sort of like to think that Infi need to be taking out tanks, and then I can take out the Infi. But like that medium duel, that's the one tank battle you got to win. That instant superiority in firepower, is so much. But if you get that first hit, that's a good call to push him on the peak.
Especially he has nowhere to go. I mean, it's just a road. Where's he going to go?
It's a prime spot to push.
And you saw 3-5's infantry was already at the edge of that compound of the point with Eli Pope there. Yeah, that's 100% would push that.
with back in the 7th, we had a TC named Lobster Dog, and when he would win the medium battle, he would just say over command chat, like, all right, good luck, have fun. Like, that was his job at the beginning of the game. Like, he won the medium battle. Like, now it's on you guys, because you don't have that armor that, you can't deal with, especially if you're the Americans, where you can't side pen. You have to be in an optimal position that the medium is making sure you're not going to find him in. So that is so nice to hear when RTC is like, medium down.
That PZ4 can be so powerful at the start.
Absolutely.
Because you can position it and play it like a heavy against Infi almost. So, to win that medium battle is definitely key.
So this was another occurrence of Ruins and 3-5 having prepped the week before. They played Train Station as well. They were, all systems go right off the cap of Train Station, and we see them forcing a very early reset from first here.
One Gary up on Ruins. Backside Garys are gone. There's one here. They still got one frontline Gary. Airhead coming up from the east side of Train. Really bad timing with that garrison. Basically flickering. Hawkman goes down. Big one away from the garrison as well. So they're going to secure it. They're going to secure it. The question is...
So that is, again, why we all love the the Ruins, and just how hard that makes it on
the Commander's worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
All your garrisons are green. All of a sudden, okay, good. We're even. We're fine. We're gonna drop an airhead, try to get behind them, and then all of a sudden, 2-3 gears slide up instantly because they can come in from everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it happened so quick on that point as well, because it's 20 meters. It's 20 meters in your SP, so it's just like everything can look fine, and then it's just rough at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and then we see later on, just a few minutes later, them make their final push here.
More exactly. Yeah.
And the Tiger's gonna push it. This is a beautiful coordinated effort from 3-5.
Just like we saw last week, Snow.
Commander and the competition to that area is there.
This is freak out mode. If you're
Brave
if you're
Tiger
first.
there.
You need everyone on this garrison while it's still up. And just as I say that, it
And
locks.
the fish who jinx it.
I jinxed it. Straight came through. Oh no, he used that straight. Reinforce coming in. Gary's blocked.
And that's a hard cap completely dominated by 3-5.
Look how many ways they can come in. They're everywhere.
This is worst case scenario for First right now.
That's the last one remaining.
And he gets that fire.
He's trying. He puts it down.
Can you stay up, Joker? That's it. See him. Cash going downstairs.
It's just such a, you're in that point, you're seeing the chevrons be like, 3-1, you're just trying to hold out.
Now, I don't know.
But, it was a very similar situation after that, though. They capped the point, and they were already on the 5th point, and wasn't much longer after that they came out with the 5-0. So 3-5 again, showing us all what we knew when they made the Valley side of this tournament, that they were going to be the team to beat. And, we'll talk a little bit more about them in the Valley final, which is going on right now on Sheepdog and Don Gotti's channel. But we'll be taking a stop in and joining them a little bit later here in the broadcast and seeing what's going on there. But 3-5 marching on to the finals, and, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone here.
No, they're a strong team, man. Like, especially their armor. Their armor's pretty well known. They've got good armor.
Yeah, 100% agreed. But, we go from talking about one game that on one side of the bracket here to another game here where ROFS, as the Germans, defeat 21st as the British 4-1 on Driel gun emplacements. So, very different sort of map here. We have the Germans and the British. So all the differences that come with that. Driel is an interesting map. How much experience do you have, Newt, playing on this?
In a comp match, I don't think I've actually ever played. No, I filled in as a friendly once for LGN, but that's it. Like I think we tried to avoid it.
Was that the 6th match that you?
Yeah, I was about to say, was that against us?
No, I think this was ages ago against the first, but yeah, we tried to avoid it, because I think you just don't want to play as the British against the Axis.
The Piat is pretty fun though, and I like.
Yeah, I mean that's the best AT class in the game.
Right.
Like it is interesting to see like the few times you play it in a pub match, just how much it slims down the Axis armor advantage, being able to side pen like heavies and stuff.
Right.
And especially when like TCs aren't used to it,
Exactly.
so they'll play like Axis armor, but yeah, I think we tried to avoid Drail, just because like you still got the STG on it. I mean, if you get in and amongst close quarters like the Brits, like with the STG, you can just basically just farm them sometimes.
Right.
Although I will say that the Brits assault class level 9, that's what the Americans assault class should be.
Dude, that Tommy with the drum mag is
Tommy
good. It's better than the American Tommy. Even the stick mag one I think is better than the American Tommy. It just feels like it's a laser beam.
Feels better.
But yeah, I still don't think it makes up for like having the STG and the MG42, especially on a map like that can be quite open, especially if they got the high ground on the tracks.
It's interesting because this is a map where you have the bridge point obviously in the middle, and that's the most fair. Then you have Brick Factory, which is on the German side, or the British side, and then you have the gun emplacements here, which is also on the British side. So you would think that 2 out of 3 are British favored, but this point is actually pretty Axis favored. Just the way that the Germans have to come into this point makes it very, very difficult to get any sort of hard cap pressure, because that last little bit when the teams are actually clashing is, they're looking down a hill from you, and, they have the MG42.
It's just avoiding the snipes, avoiding everything to get there. We almost, we played Legion on this and it was hell, as you guys could see.
Yeah.
I will say strong opinion. I say it's not my favorite tank, but I will say the Churchill's probably tank v tank is probably one of the best heavies in the game, because you saw it with the Taco LGN game. There was a couple of your Churchills just eating shots after shot into the tracks because they were just penning tracks.
It's all tracks, Just make the whole train.
If you
make the whole tank out of
position
tracks.
it right, get the right angle, that thing's like unbeatable. So, but it's slow as shit.
Oh, dude, speaking of drivers and tanks, like they deserve like a nice steak dinner after driving that tank for 90 minutes on El Alamein. That's a nightmare.
That or the IS-1. Yeah, if you got to drive the IS-1.
IS-1's another unkillable tank if you know what you're doing as a driver, especially. Like you can orient that thing and you're not doing anything to it. That's actually a good transition, because there's one clip from this game that I thought was incredible. And I don't know if I've ever seen so many AT guns and tanks shooting at one tank before, but just look at this clip. This is nuts.
But will unfortunately go down for himself.
So you hear the first shot there go in. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then
so much AT.
Damn.
Oh my god. There was 4 AT guns for that heavy tank, as well as a heavy tank
on different angles too.
Insane.
There's nothing you can do in that situation, is there?
Yeah, I guess I'll die.
You might as well just redeploy and not give him the kill.
Seriously, it's
Pull an ICR.
Pull an ICR, yeah, just redeploy. So if we look here, Cooler for ROFS, 204 artillery kills to 40. That is insane. I couldn't believe that. He breaks the graph in the kill diff by team rank thing, because he's at 118 kills more than their top person. Just a nuts game by Cooler.
If you're 21st, you're gonna have to reevaluate the already position, especially on drill where you're running on like ditches.
I'm not
all
sure if they
game.
had Comet playing for them this game, but that's definitely, you know, a tough break there. I mean, like you'll see in this clip, there's just all open field. Like that's your only way in as 21st.
Minge. Pearson's still standing. I don't know if they're going to get another spawn wave. They do get a spawn wave. But the rocket this time,
Damn.
from no comms, will...
That is, you know, it's just Driel. It's so hard. But I was talking to some of the Legion guys, you know, as I was preparing all the clips and everything for this. I was watching the games with all of them, and like we were very impressed by the 21st. Like this is, you know, a team that I think going into the further competitive leagues throughout the year is on the upswing, and they played this really, really tough, and it wasn't until the very, very end where ROFS was able to 4-1 just because 21st was like putting it out all on the table. They were going for map control by the bridge and trying to wrap that way. They were doing a lot of things right, but ROFS just played it really, really smart and was able to come away with the win. So I don't know what you guys thought. Like, did Merc play 21st this season, Newt?
No, we haven't played them.
And I don't think Six did either, right?
Yes, we did. Round 1.
Oh, okay. And what was your takeaway from that one? Like, you know,
They were better than we thought they were. I mean, we won in like 50 minutes, but still, I mean, we came
right.
in.
I remember that on Utah.
Yep.
Right.
But we were like, damn, okay, they're pushing back some, especially after mid. They did that weird truck play where they sent everyone south on.
Right, I remember that. Yeah. I mean, I like that. Just trying something different. I mean, you're not expecting to win the cap there first, but I definitely like that.
We weren't expecting 30 people to be in the south. Like, Rob, we're like, what the hell is happening?
You gotta zig when they're expecting you to zag. Sometimes, you know, it's all part of the game. But you know, ROFS 3-5 playing tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but. Let's get into the Summit side of the bracket here, where we have a Insiders First, where, you know, me as representing Legion and Newt is here representing Merc, so we have both sides of this one in recap. I wasn't able to play, but I watched this one about 100 times when I was grabbing clips and going through all the matches as I usually do. But Newt, why don't you start off first, like, you know, your thoughts coming to this. Before we go, though, Legion defeating Merc, Legion as the Allies, 5-0 on Utah Beach with the Chapel. So playing as the Chapel, playing as the Germans, you know, being in armor, we know that Chapel isn't favored to you guys as the Germans, but what is, like, the game plan off the rep?
So, game plan was basically to try and set up for the immediate recap.
Right.
It's obviously a recap point. I think you can see that sort of why the PZ4 is a bit further back. So that all went basically to shit about 2 minutes in when both trucks went down. So that immediately just screws it. But yeah, we going in, we knew it was going to be a recap, and that's what we were aiming for. But obviously, stuff like this doesn't come to fruition sometimes.
Yeah, I think that, you know, anyone who's played this game enough time, especially Utah, that we've, you know, comes up so often in these competitive matches. The Chapel's one of those points that everyone could agree is quite decidedly Allies favored, but, you know, it's a double-edged sword. Everyone knows what you need to do to cap it back as the Germans. Like, there's really one game plan that you have, and it's to get that south control where all those buildings are and try to sweep up, try to get a couple people at Grandma's house, hold that up there in the northwest of the Chapel, and then hold that while the south works up into the Chapel itself, kind of button them up into the point, make it so that they can't, you can just artillery them to death. So it's both teams know what they have to do, and they're gonna abuse that because they know what changes they need to make on their strategy.
I mean, I think you sort of covered it in the podcast before we played the game of, like, when it came down to the final two map picks. I mean, for us, it was kind of which end of the shit-covered stick do we want to grab? for us really. And so we went for Utah. I mean, because if things went well, you've got a better chance of recapping it than you do as dugout as allies. I mean, that would have been a replay of like say HLLE versus Taco, where we probably would have had a better chance of holding you to a 3-2 loss. But I mean, I doubt we would have even got a sniff at mid cap. So we went for Utah's because it's a better chance of a recap. Obviously, that didn't happen.
You play to win. You don't play to lose 3-2.
Yeah, that's what you said. Like, I mean, I'd rather get rolled trying to win than go into a match thinking, oh, we can hold them to a loss that doesn't make us look shit.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs where it's just all about, winning and going to the next round. It doesn't matter if it's pretty or anything like that. But we do have the opener here that we have the clip of when, you really can't see the first snipe. You'll see a little explosion in the background, and I'll note it when it happens. But you'll see the second one. So let's take a look.
Sounds to be some people are indeed launching some rockets or some tank snipes. Oh, look at this. So we do have a rocket coming in from Merc. Does not look like it's going to hit anything as Legion does a volley of 3 rockets.
So these rockets
and
just
miss the truck. More rockets coming in from Merc.
You guys had some really close ones there.
Yeah, Teku message saying that he was driving one of the trucks and he had to stop.
You see that first explosion taking out that people in the truck on the north, and then you see that second one.
The truck where Capsy just barely hopped out of.
Getting the truck there.
So one truck snipe for Legion to start off the game. Gonna set Merc back a tad bit, but they are gonna be playing.
So that's really rough. You lose a lot of the people that are going to grandmas. You lose all those people that are going to be dedicated to the recap. And that's a tough break to have right off the jump of the game when kind of get punched in the mouth, like all your plans that you had. It's like, well, now I don't even have the OP up where I'm supposed to be. Like, and I know how stressful that is.
It's like coming out the corner of a ring and they kick you in the balls instead of I say,
so giving you a water.
Yeah,
kicking you in the balls.
I mentioned it. You see the north truck near Grandma's house. Like that got taken out like earlier than what it looks like. I mean, but by the time that got there, it had 2 people left in the truck.
Right.
And I say we were going for an immediate recap, but none of that shit was there built for that because everybody's dead basically.
Yeah.
So it's rough.
And just a few moments later, you can see here in this next clip that Libby takes out a OP, and when Awake opens up his map, from your guys' perspective, there's not really any OPs within the 4 grid squares, and the cap is just kind of coming to its end. So let's take a look here. You can see everyone loading onto that OP as it's the one way that you have to get into the point here by Corey.
To engage each other. Libby wipes up misses the OP with his rocket. Might need to turn on my brightness a tad bit, and down goes the OP from Libby's AT. And a nice play there from Libby.
Let's see with the map here.
Pretty much wiping out Merc entirely in the sector. Only just 1 OP, and that's barely in for Monty, but it looks like they are going to try to get something.
And I mean, it just shows the value of snipes and everything like that. Like, it changes these points. Like, it just as easily could have been, Merc sniping Legion, and that turns from an allied favored point into an Axis favored point. Just, if you're able to take out 10 guys in a truck, like that does numbers for your team.
Yeah, 100%. I say, like, you could just see it in the north, where you were watching that OP takeout. You could see the red dots, just how quickly you were moving forward as well. So, like, not only will you lose them people, but you just lose so much ground that would normally be you'd have to fight over.
Yeah.
They just were able to basically just run through it.
And once you set up your OP, it's like, hitting the quick save button for your squad, you know what I mean? Now that's like the new front line, and you bubble up past that, and we all know how hard it is, or it can be, to take out an OP in this meta right now, where there's a guy on holding every angle that you try to push.
Yeah, so I was in the Lux up north, and like we just spent the whole time in reverse pretty much trying to get back to our front line, and also, the Lux is shit unless you hit somebody front on.
Right.
I agree.
There was
Terrible.
Was this you guys in the Lux that did this nice little spin move that I clipped here?
No, I think that was Beck possibly.
Oh right, it was back because he jumped out. I remember.
Doing some donuts.
A little donut here.
I think they got
Who's driving this?
Yeah.
Damn, what an asshole Caparzo if that was him. Hey. Damn.
Down goes the Luke's tank.
Beck gets out so fast with that MP40 though. I love that.
Dead Luke's.
He's not going to let anyone take his tank out for free. Obviously one of the better TCs in the game, Beck, and you guys, between yourself, Newt, and Mosk, and Beck, you guys have a great core of TCs that have been around since the early days of this game.
Yeah, me and Moss and I say Kleiner was TC in that game as well. So we've TC'd together for since the first days.
Wow.
And Beck, obviously, I can remember playing against him when he was in prime WRTB, and then he came over to Merc. So yeah, Beck's probably up there. I'd say personally up there as one of the top TCs in the game, especially tank v tank. Tank v tank, the angles that man can find is just unreal. I think he took out that game. I was getting slightly frustrated. I was like, I need you to kill the fucking infi that are shitting in our mouths on the front door. But he took out 276s in a default medium that game, just being a menace. So yeah, he's up there as I'd say one of the top TCs in the game. But yeah, we just played together so long now. That can help. I think Merc's still pretty well known for how good the armor can be.
Right.
When we're on form, and I think that's 90% of the reason is just the cohesion of playing together so long.
It's the one, obviously cohesion and stuff matters in a lot of elements of the game. In Legion, typically the same people are running with each other on a week-to-week basis, so that helps a lot. But in Armor, it's really kicked up a notch. You guys are, one unit. There's nothing you guys can do individually that, is better than what you guys can do together. So a good tank, when it's firing on all cylinders and the crew, is got that, is clicking, it's one of the better feelings in the game when you're dominating the game as a TC and as a crew.
Yeah, it's 100%. When you I find a lot of TCs, everybody TCs differently. There's no necessarily a wrong way to TC, but for as I say, the unsung heroes of the crew, when they get moved around and they've got to acclimatize from one TC to another. But yeah, that's still the only thing that keeps me tanking is there's no better feeling of when you're on a high, it beats playing infi. Fucking
right.
100%.
When you find, I say the rep station battle where you're back and forth on rep station, but God forbid, one artillery shell knocks those out, and then you just actually okay, finally, let's fight.
Yeah.
And then we win. You win that, and you're because you only get say 8 lives a game. You only get 8 tanks at most, and then so everyone's so much. It's like playing self-destroy or
And you don't want to be on your 8th tank,
Yeah, you don't. I'm sure, hopefully, as good as you are, Silver, you might not have never done this, but having to ask your commander for another heavy in red chat is just the most daunting thing when you've had one for 15 minutes and you're
Nothing,
I can't. It wasn't nothing you could do, but you were just damn, I got mine out of HQ. What the hell do you want from me?
It's it's even worse when you're not dead and you've got it stuck. If you've got it stuck, and you're
and he looks at the map and sees it.
Don't look at the map, but I need another heavy. And it's it's upside down in a fucking trench or something.
Thankfully, I think all of us play hella loose enough to be you know what, it could have been me. It easily could have been me, and you hope it doesn't happen during these games, but it does happen. You could prep a route 100 times in a row, but if something happens during the game, obviously it's a little bit more laggy. Everything is more difficult when it's live, and your adrenaline is going too. So it's more about how you adjust more than how you plan going into it. Because this game changes so quick.
But Riley, like our truck route in the 6 taco game, dude did it perfectly, probably 100 times. Their dry runs and everything else, and then a little lag, little whatever.
It's when the pressure's on as well, like when you've got the pressure on, and you know that like this is the real time. This
right.
is like.
Yeah, it's and that's a good transition. And so Taco defeating as the Germans defeating 6 as the Allies 3-2 on Hurtgen Forest Siegfried line. Snow, I know you've been dreading this.
Y'all got it from here.
And
you guys got it from here. What'd your OTC say? You guys got it from here?
Yeah. Good luck, have fun. Yeah.
Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, this was genuinely a top, I'd say 3 game of all time. From a viewer's perspective, it was as exciting as it gets the whole way through. I see Gray saying that was a crazy match, but like for me, it's like EXO versus Merc, the PHL game. There's the 6 versus Legion PHL game, the TPL finals, and then there's this game as like 1, 2, and 3. Like put them in any order you want. Incredible match. Taco capping first. And that's yada-yadaing a lot because it was an absolute slugfest for mid.
22 minutes.
22-minute battle for mid off the jump. And then you had 6th recapping with about, 50 minutes left in the game? So, still on the, plus side of halfway. And then holding that mid cap all the way until it was about 12 minutes. And Taco able to come in, capture at the end, and move on to the finals. But oh my goodness, my heart was pumping. I woke up at 7 o'clock, and the first thing I did is go on my phone and be like, oh yeah, the 6th Taco game is on, and I turned it on and I was watching it. I think I just the mid cap just had happened, and man, what a morning that was to watch. Snow, you can't avoid it. Let's hear your take first here. Take us through those stages of the game. First the mid cap battle. What's going on there?
Well, our opener was, besides the trucks, obviously, just like you said, it went as good as we could have asked for. Besides the south truck getting either sniped or stuck, and then obviously the north truck getting tapped a little bit. It didn't kill everyone in the truck. But at the end of the day, they lost 2 and we lost 2. It was a quote-unquote even trade. We both knocked out 2 trucks. So then it was just hell. They took over Farmhouse because of that south truck, and we're just sitting there on that hill showing. I think we had 85 kills before mid-cap. We were going crazy.
That is crazy.
And the default medium. Yeah, we ran out of ammo in the default medium, and then it just peaked out. So it was quicker we knew there was AT guns and shit looking at us, and we peaked out and just died. So people were like, "You lost your default medium." It was an insane amount of AT guns we killed right then. We were low in AP. I think we had 3 APs left. We took out Lux. We were low in ammo, and then we already had 800 fuel, so we were gonna grab a heavy anyway.
The cost of AT guns being so cheap makes them such a weapon for infantry. And, I think that as far as tools that are used in the, toolbox of the infantry when they're coming up against these armor engagements, it's not something that's used as much as a rep station is to protect your tank. But we've seen this season the AT gun plays. Merc had some incredible ones against Pathfinders last week, Newt. These quick, heady plays, even just right in the tank space to get a rep station up that he's not, or a AT gun up that he's not expecting. Won you guys a couple engagements with tanks there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at one point we took out 7 AT guns while we were watching a tank try to peek. It was insane. I think I ended with 32 structures destroyed. So I don't know what that counts, but I think AT guns is in that.
Yeah, I think so too. and they're really hard to peek out on that map in particular, where they're all hidden in the trees and such. So, again, reliant on your infantry pings to show you where those are. Let's take a look here of this midpoint slugfest with this clip here.
Yeah, progress going back in favor of 6 now. As they begin to make more progress towards the strong point, Southern Control looks to be going in their favor just a smidgen, but the Axis are holding on to that building complex with
that South
everything
Control
they got.
so huge.
That South was hell.
Another click fly.
I wasn't even
down
infantry
there
and
in
knew it was
support, I
terrible.
believe. Getting a little bit of cover, but Cash is coming up behind him with the right T. All right, there we go. Cash is able to take out the Puma. That's what we like to see. It's taking out those quick recon tanks to prevent them from holding back any infantry as they push towards the strong point.
That Puma had a direct sight of our rep stations on that hill too. That was his entire job. It seemed like was just mess with us.
All right, the battle for the
It's a
hard
big
cap
play
continues.
by
Everybody
Cash,
with 6th
then.
making progress. Taco's trying to shove more bodies in here, but the NG spray from the opposite side, along with the tanks. Oh, we
at
actually
that
have
flare.
lost a lot
3
of tanks here.
tank.
Okay, 1
Yeah,
Stewie making up
that's-
the opening
3
unit for the
tanks.
Allies has already been taken out. 1 AT gun down to the southwest.
Yeah, so just as a slugfest over the mid there, Collapsed and Gray both saying in the chat that the backline squads and the sappers for Taco really causing you guys trouble back there. So, Newt, why don't you talk a little bit about that, like backline sapper squads and from a tank perspective?
I mean, you don't see it. That's another thing that's changed in comp. You don't see it as much anymore, I would say. But it is still definitely a risk. And I mean, watching that match, I think potentially that like Taco's backline squads were the ones that won it, especially towards the end with the last half hour when they Sixth were just unable to keep their backline carries up because of those backline squads. And then the more you as a tank. Where they were sat in that hill, long range, they weren't able to do their job if they're fighting infantry up close. So, but yeah, you don't see it as much anymore because of the way teams play. But yeah, it's still a risk. But I think that backline squad from Taco probably won them the game, to be honest. Taking out the backline guys.
What won them the game was that backline squad and then forcing me to drive off that hill and not have the front door covered. I mean, that we knew the back line was going to be a problem. We had 3 OPs in the Gary right there for radar, and we would see it light up, and we had infantry there. But credit to Taco, I think it was Leon's squad and Farmer were constantly back there.
I think Leon and Farmer who were well known for their nasty behavior and stuff like that.
Right.
Leon's quite well known for the deep red zone Garys that he's done, I think, in multiple matches now. But
they wouldn't even shoot our infantry. I would see 3-4 infantry around us, and he would just crawl up into a satchel and just leave the infantry and run away.
Right. Yeah, it's such a pain
Fucking
to
rat.
deal with. Guys like Farmer and Leon. Those are guys that are definitely
Great players.
part of all the plans when you're thinking about what you're gonna do. In a match against Taco. Those guys are a part of the game for them, and they were such a big part of the win here for Taco. But if we go a little bit further into the timeline here, this is where Taco finally caps mid, and you'll see just how much time is left here.
Gunfights here right in the circle. Cap progress
112 on the clock. So
Blind Fish.
been going on
there,
for
takes out
28
Flag,
minutes here.
Takes out Crawley.
I might be wrong on
Looks
22.
like
It may have been
Taco
18.
may get this.
Looks like it was 18.
About the 97% cap, everybody. 97, 98, 99, and Taco with the opening cap here for this Summit semifinal after 18-minute opening cap battle. Mamma mia.
Yeah, 18 minutes, and I think it all comes down to finally getting control of that southern grouping of houses. There was a slugfest going on there for those 18 minutes. It was like Six controlled it, Taco controlled it, Six controlled it, Taco controlled it. So I'm sure that was part of your guys' preparation coming into this one.
Well, we knew we needed those houses to win. We knew if they ever took control, then they would have the point. Whoever has those houses has the point.
Right.
We were showing the hell out of it as best as we can. But they were smart, and they had AT gun between the house. They had MG shoot down the hill at us as we were they were running up, and then they had the Luxes right behind the buildings where none of our armor can see them.
Makes it really difficult.
I think there's a nice little spot on the left, like from their point of view, the left-hand side of those houses, which I think they parked on like the downslope of the hill.
Yeah, the downslope where the gun just.
Yeah, you can see that down into the trees, but like nothing can see you with the Lux. It's quite a nice spot. But I mean, I was watching it, and I do wonder if the Lux had dived those trees earlier, whether it would have probably pushed 6 back enough that it wouldn't have been as long a fight. I think maybe they played it a bit safe, just sitting there. But yeah,
I don't think that's one of the. They tried to. At one point, they tried to. I forget that. I don't know if I clipped it, but they did try to. And then one of our AT tracked it. Literally, as it was coming down, they tracked it, and he stopped. And then he was stuck there, and we ended up getting a satchel on one of the Luxes. But yeah, I do think they were attempting to do that, and luckily, we have some great AT in the 6th, and they did stop that.
That Lux is powerful there, for sure.
It was probably one of the craziest mid-caps I've watched, like, recently. I mean, I've got to admit that I was not glad. I was glad I was not part of it. I mean, especially as Infy, it looked rough. Infy, that was like so much of it just looked like running and dying.
Yeah.
Watching it, but
playing the front line on Hurtgen is a nightmare scenario for a lot of infantrymen. But then again, we'll fast forward a little bit more, and this is 6 finally getting the recap, or not finally. It really wasn't that long into the match here.
Is backed up just a little bit. They can't get the angle to support the infantry just fine. Taco's going to be looking to do a full reset here as 6 gets up.
The hard cap control there is just.
You can also see the farmhouse is also in our control. At least one side of it
Taco,
was.
big spawn wave there in the trench to our right. And they're trying to shove it on in, but 6 about 95%, 96, 97, 98, 99, and
the Allies recaps. That was our tank right there. It's just wiped it.
Gosh. There we go. And cap progress begins a little bit on sailing with Mike's squad working their way over into sector just.
So what are the vibes at that moment then, Snow?
Oh, dude, elation.
Yeah. Because
top of the world.
We all know how brutal the Allies situation to recap on Siegfried is. So the amount of skill that 6 showed in not letting their front line get entirely reset, their SLs showing discipline to get the OPs back up and not end up in a spot where the Taco tanks were now shooting you across the river the way that the 6 tanks were shooting Taco across the river. Because obviously you guys have a big valley to navigate, and they got much easier time with the trees. So I can't imagine how that must have felt for you on the other side of the river there shelling Snow.
Yeah, it was fun showing. I'm not gonna lie. It's just the gunner was just having a ball. Like I said, 85 kills before that opening cap.
That's crazy.
But when we took it, I told you before, like the game, I said, bro, if we ever take mid, we're not gonna lose it. And well, credit to Taco, they proved me wrong. But it's just that's how that. I guess that was the silly confidence that we had going into it. Though we were like, damn, if we could take this point from them, we're not gonna lose it.
You have to have confidence. If you don't think that your team is going to win, then, you have to believe in yourself no matter what happens, or else you're losing before you even went in. You gotta play it the way that you would playing to win always.
Tell you what, these D1 losses feel a lot worse than when we lose an 8 to a powerhouse team. They fucking suck. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
So we will see a clip here of the not the last minute, but sub 15 cap here by Taco, just flooding the hard cap.
Allies, I think, is ready. Reinforce has been dropped. The bombing run should be good to go too. We're at 680 munitions, so they have plenty to work with. Precision strike called into Siegfried. Where might that be though? Up here to the north. Commander opting for the risky tree line play. Will it play? Will it be good for this? Oh, it's going.
This was an amazing P-strike here by Malarkey Snow.
It's coming in.
That Tiger had just taken us out. That thing was a hassle.
Oh, and it sinks in right amongst the trees. He threads the precision strikes, able to take him out. Oh, and the LA Commander
But
goes
even
2 for
with
2
that
on
Peace
precisions
Strike,
here
you can just see
today.
the pressure by by Taco right here. Look at that, the farmhouse.
They're still getting this back, and Taco's got good full control of the hard point. And 6 is trying to rush everybody back in sector. So let's go see how this bombing run fares. Remember, the competitive.
This was a huge bombing run by Malarkey
It's
too.
gonna get a few in the circle. Maybe Damiorka stays alive. Gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, goes contested. No, but Taco's still camping. And Taco's flooding back into the circle, replacing those bodies that they lost. Artillery round lands there, and
clip this.
Taco's
I gotta
gonna
rewatch
get
it.
it back with 12.5 minutes left to go. Yes, they do. Taco goes up 3-2. Everybody 3-2. Cat progress begins. Oh, Stukas goes into the box.
But yeah, that's I mean, in that moment, now I can't imagine. You know, if elation was one side of the coin, it's just about the opposite feeling. I mean, you still got time at that moment. You know, 10 minutes, get something going. But recapping once must have felt hard, and you know, that's brutal.
We didn't have the back line. If you could saw in that clip, they were already on our side of the river at that point. They were constantly rocketing that front line Gary that we had. So, I mean, credit to Taco. Give him all the credit in the world. But fuck, did that hurt.
Yeah. I mean, these losses certainly hurt when you're on the level that we all play at. You know, it's a game, and you know, realistically, there's nothing on the line other than bragging rights, and you know, there's so many things that we all got going on in our lives that matter 10 times more. But still, like you wouldn't feel bad if it didn't matter to you, and I'm happy at least that you know other people share how I feel like after a loss, where it's like just bummed out.
Like, so we play like ours, like our EU matches most of the time. They're like at like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. You get them matches where you can win or you can lose, and I still don't sleep. I'm like, I've got work Monday morning and I can't go to sleep because I'm either buzzing because we've won or we've like lost. Especially those last minute losses, which Merc have had a few of them. Those last minute losses where you're like, I can't sleep. It's fucking stupid. It's a video game, you know, but yeah.
No.
Well, and it's funny. We had just came off like 2 wins where we won in the final like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the game. And to lose in the final like 10, 15 minutes of the game was just like, what fuck? This is what it feels like. Sorry, EXO.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least like, you know, it's not. None of these are typically like steamrolls. Like, you know, there's 1 or 2 different breaks one way or the other, and things are completely flipped around on their head. So, you know, that's just the breaks in these games, and it just comes down to a couple plays at the end of the day that change it all. But Taco going to be moving on to the finals, facing Legion next weekend, and we'll get into some predictions. Why don't we get into some predictions now? So we have this game that is going on right now. I haven't checked into it, but we will hear after this segment. We have ROFS and 3-5, another Carentan, another Canal Crossing. 3-5 will be the Allies, and ROFS the Axis, and this is going on right now again, like we were saying earlier. What are your guys' thoughts and predictions here going into it? Let's start with our guest here, Newt.
I think 3-5 win. I'd say probably 4-1 personally. I think 3-5 win. As we've seen, they've got like recent history of playing on Carentan. I think they played 2 matches recently on Carentan now. So I think 3-5 win. ROFS love them dearly, but they aren't the team they used to be. So yeah, I think 4-1, 4-1, 3-5.
Snow.
Damn, I'm back and forth. I'm gonna say ROFS wins 3-2.
ROFS wins 3-2. So again, we have our favorite point to talk about, the ruins on this one. So that's going to influence my pick here, and I'm actually going to go with what Newt said. I'm going to go 4-1, 3-5. Because of that. Wait, am I thinking about this right way?
Yeah.
No,
you're
no,
not.
I'm not. So I'm going to go with ROFS then. 4-1 for the same reason. I think if they cap first and they have ruins, they're gonna hold on to ruins, and like if it's like a black tot situation, like they probably won't push onto there. So I'm gonna go with the map dictating my pick here rather than the teams. I do think 3-5 is probably the better team right now, but map matters so much here. If 3-5 caps first, then completely different story, and I think 3-5 probably wins like 3-2. But I'm gonna go with ROFS here with the Valley Championship. Write my pick down.
We could turn to it. I believe there's like 15 minutes left in the game.
Here, let's
see who wins.
Let's see if we can get into that right now. Let me
should be about 15 minutes.
Pull up. We'll see if we can pull up Sheepdog stream here.
I was hearing words that Sheepdog was down. I think it was just Don Gotti.
Just Don Gotti.
Maybe
okay, let's try Don Gotti then. Just give me 1 second, and I will pull this up.
Because I got a text from N6. Oh, shit. Okay.
Hands are down, working his way behind.
So it looks
Sledgehammer
like 9 minutes left. Let me get us some volume here.
Look at this, the armor unit. Sledge getting some bandages in, but look, his foot's popping out.
Is Don Gotti on ROFS?
So I hope nobody sees
Don
that.
Gotti looks to be
You guys know
on ROFS, yeah.
Oh shit, okay. So 3-5's had mid.
If
anyone else has been watching this, and if there's been any like crazy flips, please say.
Working their way up onto the 70.
We can go back and watch the opener here in a second.
This may be huge.
I don't know. ROFS has like a lot. They got a lot of ground that they should have to recap this point.
Oh, look at this! It's flickering. And again, you guys should all make sure you're checking out Don Gotti's channel as well and watching on his channel, giving him a like.
Back attack turns the opposite way and Winters makes him pay for it.
It's flipped multiple times. Oh shit! So 3-5 was able to come back away from ruins. It looks like ruins is mid.
Look at this though. ROFS still heavy in the north, or no, 3-5 heavy in the north.
Oh, it's missing like an hour of gameplay. Must have had.
Looks like ROFS have got a good foothold in that warehouse over the other side of the river, and this warehouse by the looks of it.
Yeah, this 3-story is such an important spot.
Doing their best to take over these buildings, trying to work out, clear the back.
If they could get some armor up there to help them, that could be huge.
Cowboy Q-Lit Ozone managing to do so.
Oh my goodness!
Ends up taking them all out. It was placed.
That flipped the cap. It flickered just because of that one satchel.
That's a really good satchel there by 3-5.
Cap flips. Look at that.
ROFS now putting
No,
Or
was that
ROFS.
3-5
Yeah, no, that was
ROFS.
ROFS. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm all turned around. Look at this though.
The numbers in them warehouses, if they don't clear them out, that's a ROFS cap 100%, I reckon.
Yeah, look at Diesel just holding it down as SL in that little crane.
Poor guy.
Illusion, Lifton, all of them working their way in. We've got a Tiger.
There you go. You say armor.
For pressure, we've got
double reps on it.
Over here.
Oh man.
The one drop in the north. 3-5 down to just one of their 76.
But a classic finish here we're seeing.
I assume 3-5 has a reinforce up right now.
Oh, that artillery. Oh
no.
no.
Talking about Smellwood starts at the beginning of the armor unit. He managed to get the satchel.
He got it on.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna go for the satchel. Starts right at the front corner. As they're driving, sometimes you can get it off if they're gonna hold it.
They have no idea.
You see it goes right there on the back. They have no idea it happened. They're gonna drive right to the building.
I mean, that's a bold push from that Tiger, but
yeah.
I mean, with that time, you've not got a chance to do much else. But that's wounded. That's probably the last Tiger. That's the last Tiger of the game as well, probably.
Yeah. What a smart play, or what a bold play rather by 3-5, able to get that satchel on, and honestly could save the game here. But ROFS pressure is still going.
What a play, Smellwood coming in, clutch.
This is reminiscent of that Taco game.
Oh my goodness, that was. I think I needed like heart surgery after that game.
Turning right where Artie
Make
just
paper.
was, Kobe won. He hops the fence.
Oh. It's still cap pressure by ROFS.
And you know he's not missing.
It's all coming from that north side now. Look at that. Is that an airhead?
Now spawn wave comes off. Huge.
Oh hell, me.
Oh my
Comet
goodness.
moved up, Comet trying to make his way down.
Oh look, they do have another tiger there, Newt.
They gotta keep that alive.
Take this out,
Yeah, they got the two rep boys on it.
Tapping this, it's going to be a big hindrance. But ROFS now taking control of
Need a face cam of Cap's reactions.
all the trenches north of point. We got
Yeah, I got that. Hold on.
folks. Huge spawn when he comes in from ROFS.
Well, yeah, that's
Holy
airhead, isn't it?
hell.
That's airhead. That's got
Yeah.
to be airhead in that smoke.
Valley finals, folks. If you're here with me right now,
Oh
Holy
my
fuck.
goodness.
Yo, rockets, everything.
and fucking forget about it in the chat. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
shut up, Gotti. Damn, dude.
This is too good to be true.
I think they just took out one of their tanks, 3-5's tanks. Saw something blow up back there.
Oh my goodness. 4 minutes left.
Dude, falling in the river like that?
You can stay alive indefinitely like that.
Where's the bomb coming in?
They stopped it.
What?
Bombing run.
Bomb comes in. Doesn't really
They have
do much
OPs though.
for the Allies. It does, however,
Oh
stop
my
Captain.
goodness here, guys.
4.5 minutes remain.
It's a-
Take balls to the wall.
Stewie diving. Smart. Take out the OPs.
Clear it out if they make it over here and take. Oh my gosh, where'd they get this spawn over?
Damn, yeah. I think they got that airhead, or whatever the hell was spawning in there.
Look at all that smoke.
Everybody's just deleting
Chaos.
the map. Holy
ROFS is
cow,
capping.
Deathface and crew working around.
That's
Hyper-
Deathface and the Stewart.
Hyper gonna have to be the one to stop him.
He's good at driving in points.
Hyper gets dropped. I think that was Artie that reined in. Or perhaps the splash damage. I'm not sure what it was. Whack attack trying to move up.
Hit him with the coax.
No way.
Where are the ATs?
OFS had it 3-5 infiltrating back from the north, folks.
Wow. What a
I think that's
play.
it.
See how this is
No,
a minute and a half.
That 76 just got penned though.
Remember, nobody has complete hold on this point, so it's only going to take a little over a minute for either team to take this one home. And so far,
Oh
ROFS
my goodness.
has the cap pressure lead right now. 3 minutes 14 seconds remain.
There's so many 3-5 there though.
Yeah, I don't know how ROFS is even having
Yeah, I
that.
don't know either.
Well, those trenches aren't all in SP, so
Right.
Just there, that corner right there, I believe.
Oh, they got that tiger,
Those-
Newt. Yeah, you could see it just burnt out.
Took them about 8 minutes, but you see they're back in the fight now.
whereas those warehouses over there, I'm pretty sure they're close to SP or they're getting close to
Right.
SP in them warehouses. So
Looks all too much like they had it, but it looks as of now they may be watching it slip through their hands. 2 minutes 34 seconds remain. Like I said, you see the ball at the top. It's only going to take a minute and a half or less, guys. So
I'm sweating just watching this. Not
I
even
know.
playing it.
to go if it continues the way it
I mean, everything on the line here. Like, your whole season comes down to here.
Artie for 3-5. Raining in right here at the last minute.
Oh, and that's good, Artie.
Left.
Yeah.
This
They haven't fully uncapped, so it's a little less than 2 minutes exactly that they need to hold this for.
2 minutes.
ROFS'
remaining.
last push.
3-5 does not completely cap, so it is not over.
They still got huge manpower over in them warehouses. I don't know how
Yeah,
3-5 let them get away with getting that
Wow.
many people over there.
And for the cap to flip multiple times, this tells me that ROFS, I assume they've had some pressure on Ruins. 3-5 to take it back.
Right now, folks, 1 minute.
Damn.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So 3-5 are going to be your Summit Valley champions.
Damn. I'm glad we were able to catch that.
Yeah, what a fantastic ending there that we were able to catch. And wow, like, well, you got that one right, Snow. Congratulations, you're already right. So
No, I'm not. I picked ROFS.
oh yeah, never mind. So Newt is almost fully right with 4-1, but so that was I'm excited to watch that one back and grab clips for everyone. It looks like there might be some of that game missing with some technical difficulties, but we'll bring you guys a recap next week, or probably the week after, since we'll wait for all the championship games to finish and bring you a full recap of Summit from start to finish. But, we talked about the other game this week, and why don't we take a look here and get some predictions down. This is the big one, the Summit Championship match between Legion and Taco, San Marie Dumont, Pierre's Farm. Taco is the Allies, Legion is the Axis, and this is next Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So, Snow, we'll start with you this time. What are your predictions? What are your thoughts? You mentioned on last week's show your affinity for Pierre's Farm. So what's going through your mind if you were a tanker or, just in general for either team?
I think this is an Axis favorite point, contrary to popular belief. I think I just not really sure where Taco's going to play their armor besides at Northern House. I don't know what you call it. I don't know if that's a special name, but the only thing Legion has to worry about is the snipes. I think if you can get to that point without getting a truck snipe, then I think you guys can cap it. I'm gonna pick Legion in a 3-2. But if y'all 4-1 Taco, that'd be crazy. But I just don't see a 4-1. But I do see a Legion 3-2. I see you guys. The way you guys prep, I know you guys are going to be doing some crazy truck routes. I'm interested in to see how you guys play getting around the snipe that they're going to throw at you on at the church.
Yeah, I mean, that is the classic snipe that everyone talks about when you're thinking about Pierre's Farm, the Allies on the Germans coming out of San Marie Dumont. That main road snipe is, something that has had a lot of thought put into it. So, it's clearly the quickest way, but, there's I'm sure there's going to be things that are being thought of.
And you're dead. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's really hard to own that map edge segment as the Germans because of that. So, this is one that I'm going to, again, unfortunately miss, but I'll be taking tons of bathroom breaks away from my obligations that I'm supposed to do and checking in and making sure and seeing what the score is and sweating underneath the table, my hands just thinking about what's going on in that moment. But as far as my prediction, I'm going to pick Legion. I'm going to pick Legion. Let me... Yeah, I know, controversial.
Taco.
Very controversial. I am going to pick them 3-2. Only if it meant that I would win in the overall pick'ems, but that's something we're going to get to here in a minute as well.
We don't have to go over that. We know, hey, it was a great season. We got TPL coming up.
That's the important thing, right, Snow?
I am going to whoop the predictions because I played with my heart. All the VIPs from Pathfinders and Answer, you guys let me down at the end, but hey,
we have
in 6.
We have Le Bear Juice saying Taco 3-2 win. Hold on, let me write this down so that I can remember to remove your VIP, Le Bear Juice. Thanks for the encouragement. But Newt, why don't we get to your prediction? And you're gonna hold it down for the predictions for the EU here on the show right now. So let's see what you got here.
Yeah, I mean, like Snow, I like from an armor point of view and from an Infi point of view, I enjoy Pierre's Farm. It suits my way of playing Infi. It's up in your face. Same. Although, if it is a 3-2 either way, I feel for whoever's got to spend 90 minutes fighting over pizza slice, because that's just rough.
Right.
But, yeah, I think it's an Axis favoured mid cap, so with an allied recap. But I think LGM 3-2. I know that LGN are going to have some disgusting snipes lined up. I mean, Taco probably do as well, but LGN hit a lot more of theirs. So yeah, I think LGN 3-2.
Yeah, this is I think before the season there was like a couple different combination of finals matches that everyone might have expected to see, but I think that not a lot of people are probably surprised with this particular matchup here in the finals.
I think I would have gambled on LGN Taco final probably right from the start. We know how good they are. I mean, they're at the top of the game.
We'll get there.
I would say though, I would think maybe possibly if Taco get cattle sheds, we could see a 4-1. Cattle sheds can be an absolute nightmare to defend.
Yeah, that's one of those points that we were talking about last week, where you have like the cemetery on SME, you have the ruins, which we've beat to death, and, the cattle sheds, I think, is that like third point probably that you have to think about that's really hard to defend when you're offset, because there's so many different little rat ways into there. Like the whole map is wheat fields, and, we all know how difficult rooting something out of those can be. Unless you happen to spawn in and catch a glimpse before everything loads in, like it's very, very difficult to do.
Yeah. Where would you play your 3 heavies if you're Legion?
If I was Legion, I like the corner at the bottom of Pizza Slice, by that broken house. I like that corner.
There's that like Belgian gate on the map edge right there. Yeah.
So you can shoot down the road, but like you can peek forward and you get the left crossfire onto the main road.
Right.
That's a nice spot. And there's a broken wall bit even further back by Cemetery.
Cemetery that you can turn the gun. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously you've got the obvious one, which is the hill with the broken house on, with like the circular trench.
Yeah.
Which is quite obvious, but that's the sightlines you get from there is almost worth risking that everyone knows you're going to go there.
Yeah.
Taco wise, is armor.
You got road in that house.
Yeah, it's kind of rough armor wise. Like, yeah, you've got Pizza Slice and you kite that house on the main road.
And you can't really afford not to be a Pizza Slice too. Like for both teams, this goes for obviously, but like that map comes down so heavily to that. It's a map or a point where, since it's on the edge, the map edge to map edge also becomes harder to play because you need to be discerning with your manpower. But both of these teams known for playing map edge to map edge. So, as interesting as everything that's going to go on Pizza Slices, I hope that the broadcast is also able to kind of show us a little bit of what's going on at like the dugout and things like that, because that dugout hill 5 points area is also very important. Like AA is a important area to control for all 3 midpoints. Obviously, if AA is the midpoint, it's important, but for dugout and for Pierre's Farm, that area is very, very critical to hold.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to mention it about, like I said earlier, about you not seeing the flanks so much anymore, but from an Axis point of view, and we all know what like Mahojo can be like when he gets himself on a solo tank or a 2-man tank. Like the shots you can pull off from like Tanker's Hill up just past 5 points onto Pierre's Farm onto like their side is just dirty sometimes. So I mean, you could see that come into play, and I say if it is cattle sheds, then obviously 5 points comes into play a lot more in AA network. But it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, this is going to have some high viewership numbers, and it's the biggest game of the season. One interesting stat about Summit tournament in general is that there has never been a repeat winner of Summit. So Summit 1 was the 21st, Summit 2 was the 7th, Summit 3 was the 6th, 4 Taco, and now 5, who will it be? So if the trend continues, it would be Legion. If the trend is finally broken, it would be Taco here. So that's another little interesting aspect about Summit, which kind of is a very surprising stat if you think about how much
3 tournaments since you guys won.
Yeah. Well, technically, Legion's never won Summit, but
okay.
The last time Legion won a championship was TPL Season 4, which was the PHL game that we were talking about earlier. The like one of the best games ever to be streamed. I think Awake did that one, but I mean, I'm going to be watching.
Do you know who's streaming?
I'm sorry.
Do you know who's streaming the Legion Talker Joe?
I think Smithers. I want to say. I think it's going to be 2 streamers probably. I haven't really checked on that honestly, but this is one I saw Gray say Caparzo's Lord of the Benches, and that's pretty funny because since I wasn't probably going to be available, I ticked as maybe, and I'm seeing the insane amount of ticks that happened immediately on this game being posted for signups, and the early rosters that are kind of floating around out there. Even if I was available, I don't know if I could make that roster. Like, so it's really, really, the guys are locked in right now, it seems, when it matters the most. And, I'm obviously pulling for them and pulling for my team. But I think either way, we find ourselves in the finals with two of the best teams on console. And it's going to be a great show for everyone. And I'm so happy we live in this admin cam era now where we actually can watch the game and appreciate what goes on, other than after the game someone being like, yeah, we won 3-2 or whatever it was in Discord, and everyone runs with that for the next 8 hours.
Oh yeah, the Merc versus Legion game. What happened? I don't know, but we won though, 5-0.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that
the Merc versus, was it 7th? It was 7th.
Yeah. Time. Did you play in that one, Newt? The when Merc won 5-0?
Yeah, I that's one of my favorite screenshots when I TC'd the Tiger.
I'm sure
north.
It is.
I TC'd the Tiger in the north on Hospice, and one of my favorite screenshots is because you put together your montage that you used to do before admin cam, which was like, props to you for that, man, because you kept like the community, like the shit you went through to do that, like just fucking everybody should be grateful for you for that, to be honest.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite screenshots. I say I had that. I think I finished that match with 6k combat score in that Tiger, and there was a moment when you went running around the corner, and there's just my barrel. There's the barrel of the tank poking through the gap in the hedgerow on that north side. But yeah, that was a crazy match. That's probably one of my highlights, because I mean, obviously it was 7th at the time. That was, I think, they were coming off the back of a defeat to HLE, but that was still prime 7th. That was
the regular season though. So you guys won in like a actual match. The loss to HLE was like a preseason scrim. So like that was a big.
That was. So yeah, I think it was 7th's first 5-0 loss, I think, ever.
Yeah.
Which was like huge for us. Like it's like the yappy little terrier has finally done something, So yeah, that was probably a highlight. That's of like being in Merc in general. The feeling of that, driving that Tiger into that last point to 5-0 was just.
That AAR had to be really fun for you guys too after that match. I can't imagine the noises that were happening.
Yeah, it was just one of them. Yeah, it was one of them games where just everything went right. Like armor wise, like obviously we didn't win the mid cap for Hospice, so we just sat it back. And because like old school 7th were highly aggressive, we knew that they were going to push for the 5-0. Like that's the way they played. So like armor wise, you just sat back. We let him come to you. I think between me and Moss, because we actually had a crew drop. So I think there was Ray was 2-man in a tank. Obviously Ray's with yourself now, great player.
Insane.
Great players, crazy knowledge. But he was 2-man in. Me and Moss were the only two with a full 3-man crew. And so I think both of us took out like 3 heavies in the same like heavy tank. And then like Shifty just destroyed the backline. It was just one of those games where everything goes right. And I think in Merc, to be honest, we've been chasing that high ever since. That was one of those games.
There were some great scraps during that time period between Merc and 7th and Merc and Legion. Like it was always before the big tournaments would start, we would play our annual like Saint-Marie Dumont AA scrim and stuff like that. And those are always great.
I think because before that, I think it was maybe a month or so before that game, like we played like a friendly against 7th and they 5-0'd us on Foy.
I remember that.
Like,
yeah.
It was like camping us in the HQ with 76s. So it was just crazy to go to like 2 months later that switch around. But yeah, that was probably the highlight of Merc, to be honest, or one of my highlights anyway.
Yeah, that season was as competitive as I've seen it ever be on, playing the game. That was, 7th was kind of a little bit regressing at the time before they kind of like retooled everything with, Francis being a big part of that. But then HLE had that like death squad in season 3 that was so great.
I mean, it was a shame to see HLE break up. Obviously, I think part of that was like maybe the players. I did spend like 2 months in there just before the breakup, and I think it was just maybe a tactics issue for them as a team, because from a player point of view, I would have said they had probably 8 of the top 10 shooters in the game within their team. So I think potentially it was just a tactics issue, but obviously they just couldn't get over it. So that's a shame with like HLE. But yeah, that period, especially before like the server browser, so it was kind of just on the skill of what you remember from the map when you see it pop up.
West Bend.
One of the most legendary games ever. I think that game, like had there's like pre-West Bend and post-West Bend in our community, where it's like that changed a lot of the things, the way that things are now, like with the way people even view Foy as a map, where if the midpoint's not set, like you don't even want to touch it because you just know what can happen to you if you end up on the wrong side of that. So
I mean, like even our first match in Summit against 22nd, obviously we lost that on Foy. Part of that was the prep. We fucked up the truck routes and proceeded to drive 2 trucks straight into Artie. And then obviously they capped first, and I mean, like there's nothing we can do. Like our three, like we had all three 76s, like our 3 crews. We didn't have a combat score below 4K, which for a losing team is crazy. But we just couldn't crack that point with Imphy. Like we'd pushed the armor in, and then like one Artie shed had land, and all our Imphy's dead. Foy's such, I'd never want to play Foy on comp against a coordinated team.
Yeah, it's a point where you can get your kills and you can get your, especially in armor, but when it comes to like making something happen, it's one of the hardest maps to make something happen. You need a lot of dominoes to start falling in your favor, and if you get stopped at any one of them, you're something's gonna happen poorly. Like all the midpoints are difficult in their own way, and I remember playing that match against Merc. That was my first match ever in 7th, that Southern Edge Foy game. And you guys capped first because Weatherman artilleried one of our trucks. And just trying to get back into Southern Edge as the allies is a nightmare.
Yeah, I think we won the medium duel on that game, if I remember rightly. And then your armor just, I'd say that was 7th rolling rep stations. We were hitting tanks and they were still coming, kind of because of the reptiles. Yeah. But yeah, Foy is such a hard map for a comp. I mean, it's doable, but yeah, it's one of them ones where a lot of things need to happen.
It's very momentum based, in my opinion. Like you either have momentum, like everything's working, or nothing's working. It's never, you can't have armor doing good and infantry not doing good. You're not going to have anything done, or vice versa. Everyone's either on the same page or they're not. And it's just one little crack. That's how I feel. That's how you can lose it. Shout out to Mahojo for this the map bans. I know it was the Bro Brigade and everyone else that does Legion's map bans, but I don't think enough credit goes to all the teams, really. I mean, I'm sure every team at some point this season has gotten like over on another team just by the map bans. It's no telling how many games have been won just because of the prepping and the map bans and doing the science behind it. So, and me personally, I feel like half the game is in the map bans portion of it, getting the map that you want, get the faction that you can play on, and all that. So, talking about Foy, credit to Legion for the
is a beast with that. And it also credit goes to Bearju. Bearju created his own map ban bot that him and Joe were just battling on like the weeks leading up to this, and practicing that little stuff, like little zags that you can implement there. And it's interesting to see that genius work. Like Bearju is on his like Mac terminal screen, like trying to like build a map ban bot that he can use like offline for these sorts of things. And it's really, really impressive what some of the stuff that they're doing and the work that's being put in, not just by Legion. That's obviously what I can speak to, but Snow, I know 6 prepping so hard, guys like Riley and yourself and all those guys that are prepping every little thing when it comes to map day. So
probably all of them guys. And Merc, I know you guys got a ton of guys that go out there prep and do God knows amounts of hours of work just for a 90-minute game.
Yeah, I think I like when I plot the armor positions and the armor routes, I spend easily 2 to 3 hours just going around the maps in admin cam. Sometimes more. I say we've been playing in Hell EU, which still do a random midpoint. So like when I've been prepping it for like all 3 midpoints, like I can easily spend 2 to 3 hours, maybe sometimes more on like, and then the Infi guys do longer, which is crazy. Just like garrison positions and all that shit.
Yeah, rep stations, little spots you can build a barbed wire, and you know, those are all the things that I look for now. Like I've been trying to put more emphasis on like structures and things like that, because I think it's an underutilized aspect of the game. Like one barbed wire in the right spot can be a pain in the neck to deal with. Like force a guy to come in with a satchel. Like
and like like snipes, like I know like LGN like is teaching my grandmother how to suck eggs, talking to LGN about snipes, but like like if we find one, like we find like I say like I was telling you like in the thing where like that sniper hit against L90, like it took me like 3 hours to find it. I was like, I know that I can arc AP down this road,
right?
And I was like, it took me like 3 hours to find the right place, and then I spent 2 hours practicing it. You know, it's just for like 10 kills in the opening 30 seconds. Yeah.
I mean, that's huge though. It changes everything. Like when something comes over comms and they're like, we got a truck, like, you know, this area of the map.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and if I'm driving the truck, that's like, you know, I would be opposite them. Sorry, you know, I'm sure you hear the sirens, but you know, I always think, okay, well, I'm going to YOLO the truck now. Like, there's no one that's going to face me. There's no one who's going to rocket me as I run across this open field. So let me just see how far I can get with it. And if I get a couple guys up on my roof and, you know, we get to where we can take out their push garrisons, hell yeah.
Yeah, so when you go 1-for-1, I say you were talking about the Merc EXO game on PHL, which I want that EXO rematch. Because I wouldn't say either team like dominated each other. That was so
Not
close.
At all.
But yeah, we hit a wall snipe with the Stewie on their right hand truck, and then the wall drops. About 30-40 seconds later, they take out our truck, same side with the Lux, and it's like 1-for-1. You're like, because you go from that moment of we've taken out a truck to fact we lost.
That's how the Taka game felt.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, our truck got sniped. Oh wait, we got winner. Oh damn, we lost this truck. Oh, well, hey, we lost.
It's so over. Twice. We're so back. It's so over.
We're like, well, fuck. We have about 12 people heading to midpoint, but at least they have about 12 people as well.
They're thinking about it too. Like, you know, they're having the same exact mental, like, you know, stuff going on. So Newt, you mentioned Hell EU, and that's something I wanted to talk to you here. You know, at the end of the podcast, you guys are in the championship match, if I'm correct, playing HLLE, right?
I believe. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it's HLLE, but they're playing KRC, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'm going to go. I'm going to go ahead and say that HLLE will probably win that.
All right, we'll mark that down as a prediction as well.
The prediction.
So yeah, we won the league. We won the league. So they do it slightly different. So they've got a league, and then you go into the playoff cup. So we won the league. That was actually quite tight because they do it on points capped. So we beat HLLE in the first round 3-2 on Hurtgun.
Right.
We were saying about the snipes, and then HLLE something to do with the points cap. But anyway, it meant that we basically had to 5-0 every single team we beat to stay ahead of HLLE, which kind of like made it tense. We did, but they were 1 point behind us, HLLE. So yeah, we've got the rematch coming up against them, which I'm looking forward to.
So I guess we won't know what map that is, you know, until probably at next week some point. But that means
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure when that date is until they I say when they play against KRC. But they do still do like a wheel spin map pick, which I almost prefer in a little way. I kind of miss the randomness sometimes at the old school. Like not knowing what you're going to get. But yeah, we still know it a week in advance. But yeah, they do a wheel spin, and it's a random midpoint. But that's been good for us for our, like, team morale, because I mean, going into Summit, like I mean, a lot of our team know, but some of like the guys outside didn't know. I think after the HLE debacle, when a lot of them joined us, and the Herc, as they were calling it, when they went back to HLE, it was no bad blood over. Like they went home, like no different to like I went back to Merc after spending a period with them. We were sort of in a little bit of a bad way as a team, so like Merc's like an old team in name, sort of, but like when we played 7th, that for a lot of our players, not 7th, LGN, for a lot of our players, that was the first time they've sort of played a team of that caliber. So we're just looking forward to TPL now, of bringing in some of our like newer guys.
Yeah, so
we had a serious discussion before Summit of like actually whether to play it or not, because we weren't sure whether we'd be able to compete. But yeah, I mean, we got to the semi-finals with, I'd say, a fairly fresh team, so kind of proud of what we achieved.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the same thing, and obviously, you know, having the Hell EU on the side as well, where you guys get to play a little bit more during your hours that, you know, you could field your best teams more consistently, and being in the championship game there, you know, Ivan jokes in Legion all the time. He's like, you know, you can't kill Merc. Like, you know, there's no amount of anything that's gonna kill Merc at this point. Like, it's they're gonna be around, and you know they're gonna be competitive too. It's not just like, you know, hanging in there. It's a team that you need to take seriously.
Yeah, I think some of the teams hate to get beat by us. We've got a track record of killing teams when we beat them. But like WRTB were never the same once we beat them. KRC were never the same when we beat them. 8th, 7th.
Don't say it.
Damn. Well, you beat us, and then we came back with a vengeance. Yeah.
Sometimes you beat Merc. Sometimes you beat Merc, and your clan falls apart. It could be on either side of it.
I think a lot of teams, especially like at the higher level, they hate to be beat by us, because we've always been sort of like the cool kids of comp. Like we put in the prep time, but it's nowhere near as much as some clans do. So like
prepping is cool, by the way, in the audience. I just want to make a note of that.
But like I think that to a certain extent, like you get beat by Merc, and like some guys are like, seriously, we just got beat by Merc, and it fucking like it destroys them a little bit. Like, so I almost take pleasure in that a little bit.
That's an X factor.
5 ID. It wasn't nothing that was gonna kill us. The only thing that killed us was me getting sick, and then me kind of saying fuck it, like this time. But credit, just you've been there since the very beginning. Just for me running a team, when I kind of came to the realization where like there isn't much more that we can do. Obviously, you're not at that point, but just speaking, where there's like a invisible glass ceiling to a degree. Like, of course, there's like your D1 talent, and it's not the shade teams coming up, but the best players want to play for the best teams, and that's just typically how it's going to go. It's very rarely that teams players from Legion are going to drop down to come play, and that's why you just kind of constantly recruit the new players coming up. And
right.
But anyway,
that's what's great about TPL coming up though too. Snow, is that, you know, we have this format where, you know, you have the multiple divisions. So, you know, if you're a brand new team to comp, I believe signups are closed at this point, but just in case, you know, anyone out there is listening at starting up a new team or part of a new team, great way to break into playing as a team. You don't need a ton of players. You just need 30 to get it going in the lowest tier. So 30v30s, 35v35s. I think we're having 40v40 as well this season as like another like mid ground before you get into the full 49v49. So it's going to be 8 divisions again, I believe. And there's over 50 teams signed up for TPL right now. It is the big leagues. It is the largest league, I think, on any game, on any platform for Hell Let Loose. So
please stop signing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please
you got to remember as well, like a lot of people, like they judge these like smaller games like 35s I've played a few of them actually recently with like helping out teams like TRR and stuff.
Right.
And they play so differently, but like a lot of people like because there's a lot more flexing involved. Like everybody's on the attack or everybody's on the defense, but like a lot of people judge these smaller teams, but let's not forget that that's where Taco came from, and look at them now.
Yeah,
That's where Six came from.
Taco and Six,
Yeah.
both.
And Six, and Six.
Yeah, so it's a big difference. I agree. Like when I've played with R22R in their games, it's for anyone who watches hockey out there, I compare it to like a permanent power play. There's so much more extra room to work because there's less people on the board. You can get away with things that you would never get away with in a 49. There's like 2 OPs that are behind the team, or 2 OPs that get placed sneakily in the strong point by a solo SL can become half the team in 1 second. Like, it is insane the shifts in manpower that can happen, because basically one guy is like a guy and a half in a 49s match. The kills matter, the deaths matter. It's just like a really fun format to play. So
that's why after this season, Legion is going to 35s only, and they're going to be. Winter War League is the only thing in DMT. Is the only thing you guys haven't won.
Right, we're not allowed to play either of those, I don't think, though. So, it's a little bit of a sore subject. We played DMT one time. They don't like heavy tanks in the tank league, apparently.
They do not. They do not. Mediums only.
I didn't know that was frowned upon. So, apparently, it's not very cool. And then, Winter War League, we're not allowed to play 30s. So, I would love I think it was floated around, Rum was talking about an 18s league that's only infantry. I think that's cool. Newt, you guys played in something like that I saw recently, right? A super small format?
So I got to admit, I think it would have been better with maybe 12, but we did 6v6 on a skirmish map in Town Center.
That's cool.
So
Town Center is a great point for that.
Yeah, it was fun. I played it how I would normally play Infi, so I'm pushing spawns and I'm running, but it was a lot more campier than that. So as soon as I clicked onto that, and I basically ended up camping the same window for 10 minutes. But it was fun, but I think it would have been better with maybe 12v12. But yeah, Town Center, I think it was combat score and time held mid. But
that makes it a little less campy. I guess.
I think 12v12 would have made it a little less campy, while still getting that sort of
12 players.
Action.
I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar. It's 12 players or 12 squads?
12 players.
12 players.
Holy shit! Okay, I didn't know that.
So we did it with 6v6. So I think we did three squads of 2 men. We got access, so just STG bot everywhere.
Yeah. As many SCGs as possible is what I would do on
it was fun and something different. It's always worth trying something different. I say when we scrimmed LGM for 3 skirmish matches.
That was fun too. I love doing stuff like that. With LGN playing Merc and with Six, we always play fun things, and I'm happy that everyone's still excited to spice things up occasionally. 3 skirmish best of 3 was a really great premise. When Sixth approached us about playing Brick Factory on Driel, it's that's weird, but sure. When we do our Amish openers and no one uses a truck and everyone has to run to the midpoint, I love shit like that. It's the game is still for fun, and I think that's important to remember sometimes. But
yeah.
With next week we've crowned a Valley champion tonight. Next weekend we'll crown a Summit champion and potentially also a Hell EU champion, and then we have TPL right around the corner starting in September. So championship month, I guess, will continue in the next episode of the Insiders, where we'll crown another couple champions, and then we'll probably do a preview of TPL as soon as the divisions are set. I know Tunny is working very, very hard on that sort of stuff. But Newt, I mean, it was a pleasure having you. Any last notes as we look forward to you guys playing in Hell EU and the Summit Finals next weekend?
Yeah, so just I say we're looking forward to TPL. There are a few off-season friendlies. I believe we've got one against yourself, Snow 6th, coming up towards the end of next month. Unofficial third place, I'm calling it. That's what I'm telling the team, and they said when they didn't want to get up at 11 in the morning on a Sunday, I'm like, it's for third place. You got to do it. But yeah, looking forward to TPL. I'm looking forward to. I love TPL. I love the sweaty matches every week, like against the best teams. I'm here to play the best. Like
right.
Do you think we can agree to go ahead and agree to do like SME checkpoint? Come on, it was close. I wasn't even at the 6 at the time. I was driving a tank in EXO. Kill me.
As I say, the highlight of Merc was beating 7th, but like before that hospice we beat them on, we'd lost 2 times on that point, so you never know. Maybe
this time you'll get him, Newt. This time checkpoint is gonna. You gotta get the monkey off your back.
Yeah,
maybe. Now I've had something to say about it. I'm coming in here hot. I'm just kidding. Nah, man, it'd be an honor to play against you. I'm super excited for that. We were actually just talking about it today. We were already starting our prep a little bit. Just kind of like what maps and kind of things that we're wanting to talk about with you guys. We're obviously kind of counter prepping Legion right now to help them in their taco game. But
lots of good scrims and matches coming up with that too. We play 22nd tomorrow, and then we play 6th next weekend. So thanks to the 22nd and the 6th for helping us prep on these games ahead of the biggest one of the season. There's going to be lots to talk about next week, Snow. So I'm hoping that I don't have to sit in your seat metaphorically in this next week's, but. Obviously respect Taco as the powerhouse that they are, and if they were to win, it wouldn't be an upset. Either team winning or losing is not going to be an upset for the other. These are 2 of the best teams. If 6 was in this game, it would be the same case there. So I'm excited for it. I'm anxious for it, but the better team will win, and we'll all be there to watch it, I'm sure. But Snow, any last notes here before we depart?
Dude, Silver, thank you again. I'm sure it's around like 4:30 over there, maybe 3:30, 4:30.
All free.
Oh goodness.
All free.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
We're running a little bit later than we typically do, but I think we say that every single episode.
We do. Well, the conversation is always good, and I'm always happy to go a little extra long with all you guys, because it's so easy talking about Hell Let Loose with everyone here. And we were talking a little bit before the show. This little game that we all play is such a small part of all of us as people, but whenever I'm talking to any of these guys in game, whether I know them a lot or I know them a little, we always have so much more common ground than just Hell Let Loose, because we, with niche interests goes other similar niche interests. And, I'm so happy to be in this community, and I'm so happy for guys like, yourselves too, Snow and Newt, for, coming on to a show like this and becoming more than just a name on your screen, but a face on your screen. And, I think that this is great for the community, and I'm certainly looking forward to next week's episode, or I guess it would be the week after, and talking more about TPL. So, Newt, again, thank you so much for joining us and staying up late with us. We'll definitely look to have you back on as TPL starts and we get more into that stuff. So, we'd love to have you. But everyone else, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're tuning into the Summit Finals next weekend. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Take care.